My question is about pre-distribution. There's been a lot of talk about universal basic income. You mentioned universal basic capital. Could you tell us a bit more about what the difference is between that and what the advantage of universal basic capital is over income?
So,
Nicolas.
I mean, in simple terms, as opposed to having a fight, which is inevitable because inequality is increasing everywhere, not just in the West, but also in the East, China included. So as opposed to having a fight to raise taxes, why not include everyone in the wealth that's being created, meaning make everyone an owner? And there's a few different reasons. One, you bring everybody together as opposed to a fight. But two, and I think importantly, more and more of the value of what's being created is being captured by intellectual property. So less and less value over time, I think, is going to people, but also capital. So fewer and fewer people are going to capture the value. In essence, the robots are becoming more and more valuable. And as opposed to taxing the robots, why not just own the robots? So in the case, and this is again a California example, because in California it's more extreme than any other place. If you think of, in the West, of the most valuable businesses that have been created over the last 15 years, they're pretty much all on the West Coast in the US. So IP, is clearly incredibly valuable. But in the creation of new wealth is pretty fast. So our idea is simply, as opposed to having a fight on taxes, why not, let's say, Paul starts a new business, as opposed to you owning 100% of that business, let's say you own 70% of that business. If you're going to be successful, it won't make a difference. You'll be successful, your shareholders are going to be successful, but 30% goes to the state, goes to society, in essence, and maybe in the form of sovereign wealth fund, so that the state and all citizens are the beneficiaries of Paul's success. And that can be in lieu of taxes or in exchange of lower taxes. But that way, if Paul's business becomes Google, everybody is a beneficiary. So it's a virtual environment as opposed to a very toxic environment, which is where we are today.
Let me just add the fundamental distinction between UBI and universal basic capital, universal basic assets, is universal basic income perpetuates the system of inequality. Universal basic capital breaks it down structurally.